I'm live, hopefully. Hopefully we'll be getting more people on the stream. I don't know.
Or you could just remember your reading glasses. Never forget your reading glasses again with PhinOptics. The only reading glasses that are always with you.
Okay, so I have no idea where my friends are, and what I was doing was I was watching the Pokemon Go convention and RDC. And if you don't know what RDC is, it stands for Roblox Developers Conference. It's basically a conference that Roblox does talking about all the new features coming to Roblox to developers. But you can also see it if you're not a developer by either watching their live stream on Twitch or YouTube. So that's what that is. The one video that I wanted to point out, whatever, probably point at sounds better, is, I have to search it like this, is this video right here by Vsauce. Now, I'm actually not going to play, I'm actually not going to play the video, but I'll show you one part of the video soon. What I'm going to do is I was going to let my friends come in here and I was going to read the transcript and they would hear it and be able to tell stuff about it. And then I would show them this little animation that I will show you guys. But they're not here. I don't know why, but they're not here. Hopefully they'll join soon. If not, then I can hopefully do this all by myself. I just picked something off me because my camera's not even on because I ate dinner. I was going to show you my dinner, even though the plate's empty. But I could use the plate for something that is in this transcript. So it says, in 2003, researchers did the measurements and found that Kansas is in fact literally flatter than a pancake. Of course, the Earth is not flat, the Earth is round. Otherwise, travelers would be falling off the edge all the time, right? Wrong. If the Earth was not a ball shaped, but was instead a flat disc, like a plate that you guys can't see, well, with the weight, density, and thickness, living in the middle could feel pretty normal. But as you move toward the edge, gravity on a disk, Earth, would slightly skew, pushing at a greater and greater angle back toward the center. And his friend created this animation. So just watch what happens. This is basically an animation of, here, let me take the captions away, and that this is basically a animation of a guy running to the center of the Earth, and if the Earth was flat, this is what it would actually look like. And you guys might be experiencing a little bit of lag. I'm sorry about that, but you can kind of see the animation pretty well. So basically what is happening here is he's running to the center of the Earth, and the closer he gets to the center of the Earth, the more it feels like he's running up a hill. And then once he actually gets to the center of the Earth, if the Earth was flat, then suddenly the Earth would just automatically go, I'm waiting for it to be there, the Earth would just automatically go straight. You would feel comfortable and you would just walk straight. But in reality, if the Earth was flat, in reality, when you were walking straight, you would be on the side of the Earth. You wouldn't be floating off into space. You would actually be on the side of the Earth right here, which is very, very weird. But anyway, that's the animation. Let's go back to the transcript, or is what it's called. Let's see. So here's his description of the animation we saw. The person and buildings obviously aren't to scale, but check out how such increasingly diagonal gravity would work. Although this is a flat disk, it would feel to a runner headed toward the edge like they were fighting to climb a steeper and steeper hill. The building foundations behind the runner reflect how you would have to build structures closer and closer to the edge so that people living in them always felt like down was at right angles to the floor. The way we feel it on our big round earth, as you approach the edge, things will get scary. Remember, this is a flat earth, but it would feel like a sheer drop off. What's really cool is that contrary to the don't fall off the edge fear on a flat world because of gravity, the scary risk would actually be falling away from the edge and rolling all the way back to the center once you stepped over the edge. Instead of falling off into space, you would be able to relax and it would be a nice level place. This model, of course, neglects the fact that such a planet shape would be impossible. Anything as massive as the Earth, shaped like a flat disk, would under its own gravity naturally collapse back into a ball. This is why in outer space, everything more than a few hundred miles in diameter is round, or so we've been told. What if gravity isn't real? What if the Earth is in fact flat and science has been all wrong? And the part where now I was gonna say the part where it says this, we're gonna go see something, but now I just totally forgot what we were gonna go see. Oh, this one right here. So this part right here, the part where, yeah, right here where he's talking, it says, this is why in outer space, everything more than a few hundred miles in diameter is round. I'm actually going to pull up a video, but I won't show you. I won't show you what it is. Come on.
And remember our motto, a cookie burger is a happy burger, so smile.
So let me find a website instead of a video. Okay, so when I show you this article was in August 23rd, 2014, or 2004, but it still might be a little up to date. I don't know. But anyway, let's go back to here. So this part I'll show you in a couple minutes. Let's continue. What if gravity wasn't real? Blah, blah, blah. What if the Earth was flat and science has been wrong all along? It's a misconception that Christopher Columbus discovered that the Earth is round. Virtually every scholar and major religion in the West accepted Earth's rotundity since at least the time of the ancient Greeks, who, for instance, had noticed that boats disappear bottom first when sailing away. And I'll show you what he means by that. So basically, I said beats, I mean boats. So basically what it means is usually when you watch a ship go into the horizon, you can, let's just show you this video. So as you can see by this video, see how, watch what happens. I'm going to skip it and watch what happens to like the bottom of the ship. See how the bottom of the ship got a little blocked by the water. Now it's getting more blocked and more blocked and more blocked. See how it's just continually going down? just going to go down and down and down and down. That is what he's talking about. So bottom first one sailing away, and as you walk north and south, stars start to pop in and out of view. Yep, same thing as the boat. The misconception that only a few hundred years ago lots and lots of people believed the earth was flat likely began in the modern era as a sort of insult. Well, your people recently thought that the earth was flat, so why should we believe you now? The smear was represented and published so often it became accepted as historical fact. Flat earther became synonyms with anti-science. Do that. It might seem flat over short distances, but over longer ones, well, the earth is pretty darn curvy. And this thing, I cannot say, can I highlight it? Let's see where it is actually. Has anyone chatted yet? Let me actually do this. And 1 sec, I'm rearranging stuff. Put that up there. Put this up there. Okay, so no one said anything. But anyway, let's look at this bridge. So it's a double-decked suspension bridge that connects the New York boroughs of Staten Island and Brooklyn. So that's what it is. And you can easily see it better on this Google map right here. So as you can see, this is basically connecting New York, which is right there, to Long Island, which is right there. Connecting Staten Island and Brooklyn had to be designed with Earth's roundness in mind. In two towers separated by 1,300 meters and perfectly vertical are nonetheless 41 millimeters. This is like math. Further apart at the top than at the bottom because of Earth's curvature. In the 3rd century BC, that person or that religion, I don't know, let's research. So he was a mathematician. He was a Greek mathematician. So in the 3rd century BC, a Greek mathematician measured the differences between shadows cast by poles in Saloni and Alexandria to calculate more than 2,000 years before rockets and space travel. The circumference of the entire global Earth was, for the time, impressive accurate. Word got around that the Earth was a round shape after that, but in 1906, Wilbur Glenn Voliva became head of a slightly bizarre religious sect that pretty much ran the city of Zion, Illinois. Voliva believed that the Earth was actually flat, and he enforced flat Earth teachings in schools in Zion. So I'm going to actually mark my place there, and I'm going to show you something that I actually researched way before I started this stream series. Yes, as you can see by the title, people actually think the Earth is closer than NASA says. So I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna talk about it for a little, and I still am just like, what in the world? So this September, which was September of 2014, or I mean 2004. I keep saying 2014. This September, NASA is set to bring back a tiny sampling of a raw material of the sun, a sample weighing no more than a few grains of salt. In a dramatic ending that marks a beginning in scientific research, NASA's Genesis spacecraft is set to swing by Earth and jettison a sample return capsule filled with particles of the sun that may ultimately tell us more about the genesis of our solar system. The Genesis mission to capture a piece of the sun and return it to Earth is truly in the NASA's spirit, a bold, inspiring mission that makes a fundamental contribution to scientific knowledge, said Stephen Broadley, NASA's program executive for the Genesis mission. NASA's headquarters in Washington. It's talking about mission. I don't think it's talking about how close the Earth is. So here's a form of evidence that the sun is closer than we were told, actually. So I just came from a stroll on the beach. There was the sun and the moon at the same time, both visible. I wondered, would it be possible to calculate sun's distance by watching the moon shadow? Today's half moon, that means that if we suppose the sun at a very bright distance, the sun and the moon will have almost 90 degrees among them. I aimed with one arm to the moon and with the other to the sun. Both arms made an angle of approximately 70, very far from the 90 they should have made. Haven't calculated how much distance means that first you must know moon's distance, but if they lie in sun's distance, I can't take their saying for moon's distance. Anyway, an evidence of a sky dome that even has glitches. Shame they banned me from the Flat Earth Society for talking nonsense. They would have loved this. I feel like I want to join the Flat Earth Society, but I wouldn't believe that, Earth was flat. I would just, talk with them and see what they believe and all this stuff. So that's all I would do. I wouldn't try to argue with them. I would just, talk. I would just talk with them and see what they believe in, all this stuff. So that's what I would do. If you heard that noise, I'm sorry. Let's continue. So I don't know what I was doing. So yeah, basically people think that in the summer where I live is 36 meters from the sun. In comparison, a map, and they were just an inch away. Valid method to calculate sun's distance. Check out this app. This thing. What's this? Oh, is this? So this is basically showing the moon's phase tonight. Sun should be almost exactly 9 degrees to my side if I'm aiming to the moon. Why was it just 70? Can someone explain this? Well, okay, so she's trying to figure out why it was 70 and not 90. Please update your account to enable third-party hosting. Evil forces. So what's this say? Our Guardian's tech is really advanced. For example, the screen on the dome produces different images depending on the angle with which you look at it. On this way, if you are on a side of the dome, you'll always see the moon the same size, though sometimes is farther and some closer as it moves in the screen of the dome. As the angle of the view of the screen grows, so does the image of the moon. Edit. not to mention the moon's illusion, typical phenomena. Why does this happen in a picture? Why it doesn't happen in a picture if it's caused by the horizon? Here the horizon and the moon, yet no illusion. That's the sun and moon right there. So that's that. So that didn't really tell us anything that much, but it did give us some info. So yeah, there are people that think the moon is closer than we think, the sun is closer than we think, and as you can see by here, stars are closer than you think. In the USA Today, that's an article. Okay, anyway, let's continue watching this video. He also enforced that belief on really anyone who entered the city. Voliva believed not only that the Earth was flat, but that the sun was only a few thousand miles away from Earth and not 93 million. See, he believed that the Earth or that the sun was a few hundred miles away, and also the Earth, and also the moon, and also the stars, and not 93 million or billion miles away. He also believed that the sun was only 32 miles across, not 860,000. He sounds crazy. Or does he? You see, the same phenomenon, which I don't know what this is. Let's research it. I'm just pulling up something. So the same phenomenon. Oh, So the same phenomenon that the Greek. One sec. Let me do something. One single second. I think my friend is about to join, but I don't think I gave him the link. So copy. Then we're gonna pull up the email. So, or not the email, the link. So hopefully he'll get that soon and he will join me on this eventia. I'll keep that up so I can see when he joins. But let's see. Sounds crazy, or does he? You see, the same phenomenon that the Greek mathematician measured could be explained by a flat Earth. If the sun were only a few thousand miles away and 32 miles across, the math would work out the same. Today, with the power of the internet, modern-day flat earthers have picked up where Voliva left off. They have quite good explanations for any evidence you throw at them that the Earth is round. Circumnavigation is really just a flat circle path. The round shadow Earth casts on the moon during a lunar eclipse could also be made by a flat disk. Time zones are caused by spotlight, sun, and remember how time zones are caused by spotlight, sun. And remember how gravity would be totally different on a disc-shaped planet? Well, they argue that gravity as we know it simply doesn't exist. The flat disk of Earth is merely accelerating up to 9.8 meters per second. And what I did, I actually put this in, and then I changed it to miles per hour, and it changed to exactly almost 22 miles per hour. So that means that if the Earth was flat, it would be accelerating at 22 miles per hour. And let's get an actual video of it. So even though this is a runner, probably already. So this guy is running at 22 miles per hour. So that right there is him running at 22 miles per hour. So as for all of the photos and videos evidence we now have that the Earth is round thanks to space exploration, well, all of that material is completely a hoax perpetuated by big globe space agencies, airlines, globe manufacturers, and globe manufacturers. Ooh, oh, who went live that I know? Oh, Twitch presents. They're probably showing a movie. They are reaping the rewards of our ignorant belief that the Earth is actually round. They know, of course, that it's flat, and they're hiding the truth from us. Is it merely a coincidence that the logo used by the Flat Earth Society is a projection of Earth centered on the North Pole and also happens to be the projection used by the United Nations? Are these people for real? Probably not most of them, but this is the crux of Poe's law. Now let's search what Poe's law is. Poe's law is a adage of internet culture stating that without a clear indicator of the author's intent, it is impossible to create a parody of extreme views so obviously exaggerated that it cannot be mistaken by some readers or viewers as a sincere expression of the parodied views. So this is basically saying without the actual evidence of the Earth being flat, it's impossible to create a obvious view of the Earth being flat, so they exaggerate it. Sorry if I get that wrong. I think I did. Yeah, here it is. It actually says the Poe's law right there. An adage that states that at their extreme, parody of extremism and sincere extremism are difficult to distinguish. Although clever, flat Earth theories are fundamentally, I don't know, ad hoc explanations, excuses made up on the spot that only address one issue and don't fit all of the evidence. Science, of course, rejects a theory if a better one fits more of our observations. But why the egoistical obsession with our observations? A cosmic ray particle could use the very same scientific method we use and conclude that the Earth was, in fact, flat. You see, at speeds near the speeds of light, time slows down and lengths contrast. One way we know this is that unstable moons created in the upper atmosphere by the collision of cosmic rays with the atmosphere should mostly decay before reaching Earth's surface. But yet, we detect a lot of them down here because their crazy fast speed literally means that from our perspective, their physics runs according to a slower clock and to them, the distance they have to cover to the surface during their short lives is from their perspective much shorter than it appears to us. If you're a cosmic ray proton traveling at 99.9999999999991% the speed of light, Earth would appear to be only 17 meters thick in the direction you travel. So Earth is flat to them, but round to us. It is ball-shaped to some observers and flat to others. There doesn't appear to be a single most correctest in all circumstances answer. Susan Hawk. Let's see who. Oh, I said back. Eeps. Transcript. Oh no, I don't want Arabic. Give me English. Whoa. When I just see a bunch of numbers, that's when I know I'm near. We haven't seen Black Halloween though. I saw that, so you got a sneak peek, kind of. There it is. So it's somewhere near here. We're getting close. Here we go. We're here. Susan Hawk. She is a distinguished professor in the Humanities, Cooper Senior Scholar in Arts and Science. She's a professor of philosophy and professor of law at the University of Miami. And she was born in 1945 in England, United Kingdom. I wonder why it doesn't share her birthday. It only shares that she was born in 1945. That's weird. Okay. Oh, I just went like down a whole lot. There it is. Susan Hawk compares knowledge to... It's playing the video, isn't it? Yep, I knew it. Susan Hawk compares knowledge to a crossword puzzle. New answers interweave with old ones. They all reinforce one another. The clues are the questions we ask, and the way the answer falls into a predetermined grid, well, that's our confidence that we're on the right track. But that doesn't mean that one day there will be a finished puzzle, a complete answer. The New York Times famous 1996 crossword puzzle that came out the day before the U.S. election between Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, the clue 439 across was pretty crazy. You seem to need to be able to tell the future to answer it correctly. It simply said, lead story in tomorrow's newspaper, blank elected. Well, that blank could be Clinton or Bob Dale, and who's to say which one until tomorrow? There's no way to know, but as it turned out, the answer... There's no way to know. But as it turned out, the answer was Clinton or Bob Dole. No matter which you row, in all the other clues fit. For instance, a Black Halloween animal could either be a cat or a bat. Our knowledge about the outside world might be the same, a puzzle with no answer key. Just the reassurance that the answers we think we know fit together, so they're probably correct. Though there's always the possibility that the answer to one clue or all of them will fundamentally not have a single definite satisfying answer. The puzzle may be playable forever. I like what Richard Feynman said about this. Some people say, how can you live without knowing? I do not know what they... So some people say, how can you live without knowing? I do not... And he said, and Vsauce said, I do not know what they mean. I always live without knowing. That is easy. How you get to know is what I want. Blah, blah, where to go? Is what I want to know. You know? And as always, Thanks for watching. So basically, I thought I was getting to the end. I saw that we were at the 9-minute mark, and I'm like, oh, we're getting to the end because I remember it's at 10 minutes. But basically what this guy is saying is he's kind of giving the pros and cons of why the Earth is flat. Like he's giving the agreement of why the Earth is flat and the disagreement of why the Earth is flat, all in this one video. So I hope, I'm not ending the live stream, I'm just saying this. I hope this talk that we just read with this video has given you a little insight on the way that Earth might be flat or might be round. But as I said in all the other ones, I am a person that has believed in a round Earth. I believe in a round Earth. I don't believe in flat. I believe in round. And just to prove it, even though you might not believe in this book, I'm going to show you this right here. So, guys, so I'm gonna actually, as the Bible say, the Earth is, I'm actually gonna show you. Oh, hello, somebody.
Hi.
Oh, is that you, Mighty?
Yeah.
I saw your face, Mighty.
I see your face. Well, it's your face is your profile picture.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the stream saw your face too. Okay, anyway. So what I was basically reading was the transcript of a video because I didn't want to actually play the video. Otherwise, whenever the stream would be over, I might get copyrighted for playing a video. But I just read a video about if the Earth is flat or not by a guy named Vsauce, and in the video it actually kind of said that the Earth is flat and also the Earth isn't flat. So he gave a lot of reasons about the Earth is flat, and then he also gave a lot of reasons about how the Earth isn't flat. So it was very interesting.
Okay, so what did you end up deciding?
I just decide what I believe right now, which is that the Earth is round. I believe that the Earth is a sphere. And right now, what I am about to pull up is I'm pulling up websites. Like I'm pulling up one website about how the Bible says the Earth is flat, and I'm pulling up another website about how the Bible says the Earth is round. And I'm gonna actually, because I've read the Bible. I haven't read the whole Bible before, but I've read the Bible before. And I want to see which one I believe, because I believe in the Bible, but I don't really know if I'll believe in this stuff.
Okay.
So, Flat Earth Bible. Let's try this one. So, first one is Answers in Genesis. Does the Bible teach that the Earth is flat? So this is a quote from this is the quote by Dr. Danny R. Faulkner, which is kind of the last name of Spy in Disguise. I almost said his name. As I have previously discussed, belief that the Earth is flat has rapidly grown of late, largely through dissemination via countless internet sites and the influence of social media. Unfortunately, many Christians have fallen prey to this, misled into believing that the Bible teaches the Earth is flat, and that until 5 centuries ago, the church likewise taught that the Earth is flat. In this article, I will explain many of the biblical passages that supposedly teach that the Earth is flat, and I will show that, in fact, they do not. But before doing so, I must respond to 2 false assumptions mentioned above, that the church historically taught that the Earth is flat, and that this changed 500 years ago. So 2017 minus 500, which would be 1517. That was 1517 popped up in our last live stream. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
1517 was when space exploration started, right?
15, 17.
Yeah, I think that's when space exploration started. Either that or that was when everyone thought the Earth was flat.
When is it? It has. I think it was when everybody thought the Earth was flat.
Okay, so that's when everyone thought the Earth was flat. Okay, I'll keep reading this. Okay. And my throat needs a little drink, but I want to keep reading. As the medieval scholar Geoffrey Burton, which I will search to see information about him. Let's see. He's an actor. It says he's an actor, but don't worry. A cricket player, fictional character, blah, blah, blah. I cannot find the real guy. Huh. Anyway. Oh, wrong thing. No, we're not looking at that yet. Oh, that's why I didn't do his whole name. So that's why I didn't pop up.
Oh.
American historian. So Geoffrey Burton Russell is an American historian and religious studies scholar. He was born in 1934 in California, and his education was Emory University in 1960, and then he went to the University of California in Berkeley, which I don't know where he lives except California. Go away. So, scholar Geoffrey Burton Russell ably demonstrated, contrary to common misconception, the medieval church did not teach that the earth was flat. Thomas Whatever introduced Aristotelian, though, what were you going to say? What?
I was just commenting what you said. How you said it was kind of cool.
I know, Aristotelian, though into medieval church teaching, writing in the 4th century BC. So that I think that means it was 4th century BC, what basically means 4 years before Christ. Actually, no, it means 4th centuries. How many years is 4 centuries?
That's 400.
400 years. So 400 years before Christ. So writing 400 years before Christ, Aristotle clearly taught that the earth was spherical. In the early second century, so 200 years before Christ, this person accurately measured the circumference of the spherical earth. Someone's book from the early 2nd century AD, so this means 200 years after death, provided a useful model for calculating the positions of heavenly bodies. While this model was geocentric, it did not promote a flat earth, but instead was based upon a I just dropped something. Ellipse. What plays? Okay, there it is. The works of Aristotle, were all widely available and discussed in the late medieval period and continued to be through the transition to the Renaissance. Given the clear record of history, why is it so commonly believed today that most people, and especially the church, thought the earth was flat? This is basically like does the Bible teach the earth has an edge? Okay, here's some Bible verses. Let me pull up my Bible app. That's why I pulled up this article. I was trying to find some Bible verses. Yeah. So and while that loads up, I'll wait. Okay, it should have loaded up by now, and I feel like I just cursed, but oops. I know when I said should have, I feel like I cursed. I did not mean to, though. Okay, read. Go to read already. Did you see when me and Tech were talking about his mother?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it except this way. I like roasted him with a Bible verse. Come on, I want to read. Me want to read Bible.
It's fact. It's a fact.
Well, that was it's something new we learned about Tech. Yay. Okay, finally. Okay, what's the Bible verse? Revelation 7:1. My dad has actually read the whole Bible.
Seriously?
Yeah. Okay, so here's what Revelation 7:1 says. It says, "After this I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, so that no wind would blow on the earth, or on the sea, or on any trees." And I'm going to read this to see what it actually is talking about with this Bible verse. If the verses that mention the earth's 4 corners do not refer to a flat earth, then to what do they refer? Let me begin with Revelation 7:1, which is just what we read, which speaks of 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth and restraining the 4 winds of the earth. Even the most ardent students of hyper-literal interpretation of the Bible acknowledge the frequent poetic elements and the use of imagery in the book of Revelation. This extends to the many occasions where numbers appears in the book of Revelation. In this one verse, the number 4 appears 3 times. In each usage, the things mentioned are intimately tied together. So there is a one-to-one correspondence between Earth of the 3 groups of 4. There's a lot of like stuff like that I read on the internet where it's just like, this number has been said this many times in the Bible.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that.
Honestly, I've never seen that.
Like,
right?
Like there, so Satan's number is basically 666 and God's number is 7.
7.
No, not 777. That's the weird thing. Satan's number is actually 666. God's number is just 7. Not 777, just 7.
Oh. I thought.
And here's how many times 7 has been mentioned in the Bible.
How many times?
I'm trying to find it. Where?
Okay.
I can't remember. How many times is the number 7 mentioned in the Bible? This is about questions. I love got questions. Anyway, we can't find it, but that's, that's the number.
You just can't.
And then
find it. Oh, that's the number.
Yeah, I can't find how many times 7 was mentioned in the Bible. I know one time, which is in Genesis, where it says that God created the earth in 6 days and then rested on the 7th.
Okay.
Actually, I think I have an idea. So, okay, how many verses are there? Is there more to load? Yeah, there's more. So I'm not going to read the actual verse. I'm just going to say where it's found in the Bible, but there's more sevens that are in the Bible, not just these. So you have Revelation 1:20, Numbers 23:29, Genesis 41:26, 2 Samuel 23:39, Job 42:13, Genesis 5:31, Revelation 8:6, Numbers 23:1, 41:27, Exodus 7:25, Leviticus 25:8, Numbers 28:29, Numbers 29:4, Numbers 29:10, 2 Kings 11:21, and it just keeps going and going and going. So just imagine how many times 7 has been mentioned. 7 has been mentioned in the Bible.
777. I'm just kidding. I don't. If that was the exact number,
You would have flipped out.
Yes.
Huh. So, okay, so I just realized that FFN is back, and he commented on a place that I did not think he'd be commenting at. So, hi, FFN.
Where did he comment?
So, if you go to my live stream and scroll down to the comments section, that's where he commented.
Oh yeah, why aren't comments?
Yeah, like yesterday's live stream, it was in the live chat section. Today's live stream, it's in the comments section.
That's weird. I thought you did something.
Huh. That's weird. But anyway, hi FFN. Right now we are discussing where, like, right now we're discussing where in the Bible does it say the earth is flat, and then in a couple minutes we're going to discuss where in the Bible does it say the earth is round. So, okay, let me get my Bible thing out wherever it is. Did I delete it somewhere? No, I did not. I guess I just exited it out.
I didn't know that was a word.
Exited it out. The next Bible verse is Revelation 27-8. 7! I said 7 again. I'm kidding. Oh, whoop. Oh, no. I did not mean to have that on. Whoops. Okay, read. I want to read. Let me read. Okay. Oh, let it load. Okay, here we go. The next Bible verse, as I said, is Revelation 27-8. So, Revelation 20. And let us read 7-8. When the 1,000 years are completed, Satan will be released from his prison and will come out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the war. The number of them is like the sand on the seashore, and they came up on... Oh, not that part. So this actually kind of goes back to another Bible verse, the part where it says... gather them together for the war. The number of them is like the sand on the seashore. Because I remember in the Bible, and I also watched a video of it, but the Bible is the true word. You gotta read that instead of watch a video. But that was my quote when I was doing those Bible studies on my other YouTube channel. But anyway, in the Bible somewhere, it actually says, if you grab a handful of sand and then just throw it, all of those grains of sand that were in your hand is how many people are on the earth.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't. Okay. Just grab a handful.
Yeah, just grab a handful of sand and throw it, and all those tiny, tiny pieces of sand, if you were able to count them, you would count them, and the number would be how many people are actually on the earth.
That would be 7 billion. Over, actually.
Okay, so that's what that Bible verse said. So let's read what it says here. So the phrase four corners of the earth probably was an idiom in the Apostle John's time, which is one of the apostles in the Bible, much as it is in English today, referring to every distant location on the earth. This is the meaning from the context of Revelation 20:7-8, which is just what we read. The other occurrence of the phrase four corners of the earth is in the book of Revelation. The King James Version has the word quarter here rather than corner, though the Greek word is the same in both Revelation 7:1 and Revelation 20:7-8. Idioms in one language can be difficult to translate into another language because a literal translation may be meaningless. In the target language, imagine how a literal translation of our idiom, "you're pulling my leg," would be understood in other languages. It is probable that the English idiomatic understanding of the four corners of the earth, referring to the remotest part of the earth, stems from Revelation 20:7-8. From a evaluation. Wait, is that right? Yeah, from an evaluation of its context, we may include that this is also the meaning of the four corners of the earth in Isaiah 11:12. Isaiah.
Who's that? That's my friend. Oh.
Hey, Spy.
Sorry.
So right now what we're talking about is what we're talking about is how the Bible defines that the earth is flat, and then in a couple minutes we're going to talk about how the Bible defines that the earth is round.
All right.
Isaiah 11:12. Let us read this. And I'm in the Bible. Then it will happen on that day that the Lord will again recover the second time with his hand the remnant of his people who will remain from Assyria, Egypt, Pathrons, Cus, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And then we go here. The third appearance of this phrase in the Bible, its use there generally is understood to be idiomatic.
So what's going on at the moment? What's going on in the moment? Yeah.
Nothing's going on at the moment. Sorry, Spy. Okay. However, critical evaluation of each of these 28 instances of the phrase "ends of the earth" in their respective context shows plainly that this phrase, too, is an idiomatic expression. For example, in 12 of the 28 occurrences, the Hebrew word, which translated means extremity or end, used in construct with this Hebrew word, which means earth, evidences that the biblical authors intend this phrase as a reference to the uttermost reaches of the inhabitable world. The fact that this phrase sometimes is used to speak not of the distant parts of the earth itself, but rather of the people who inhabit these remote places. So, okay, you're probably getting bored, Spy, if you're still here, and also Mighty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read these last three Bible verses, and I'm going to tell you what I think this article is saying, and then we're going to go on to why or how the earth how the Bible says the earth is round, okay?
Okay.
Are you getting bored of me reading?
No.
Okay. You're lying. I heard that. You're lying.
Who said I was? I'm not lying.
Okay. Okay, you're just like, no. So that kind of sounded like you didn't want to
That's
say no.
definitely not a lie.
You're like, no. Okay, here's this Bible verse. It says, God blesses us, that all the ends of the earth may fear him. So that talks about ends of the earth too. Now we go to Psalms 98:3. Oh, Psalms 98:3. He has remembered his loving kindness and his faithfulness to the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God. So those were, I bet, out of all of the Bible verses we read so far, I think only 3 of them have talked about ends of the earth. And then next one is Isaiah 45:22. Isaiah 45. Turn to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God and there is no other. So out of all these Bible verses, I'm going to say what I believe, and then Spy and Mighty, you can say what you believe. But out of all of these Bible verses talking about the ends of the earth, I still believe the earth is round, but these Bible verses are kind of pointing out that the earth has ends to it, little corners, which kind of says that the earth is flat, but I still believe the earth is round. How about you guys?
You know what? I still think the earth is flat.
You think the earth is flat now?
I mean, not flat. Round.
We lost a person. They think the earth is flat. No. Okay.
No, I still think it's round.
Okay, so next one we are going to talk about is called the Flat Earth Bible. So here's what it says. When I first
I did not know that existed, a flat earth Bible.
It doesn't exist. It's just talking about how the Bible talks about the flat earth, so the Flat Earth Bible. When I first became interested in the flat earthers in the early 1970s, this is someone's quote, I was surprised to learn that flat eartheism in the English-speaking world is and always has been eternally based upon the Bible. I have since assembled and read an extensive collection of flat earth literature. The biblical arguments for flat eartheism that follows come mainly from my reading of flat earth literature, argumented by my own reading of the Bible. Except among biblical inertists, it is generally agreed that the Bible describes an immovable earth. At the 1984 National Bible Science Conference in Cleveland, geocentrist James N. Hansen told me there are hundreds of scriptures that suggest the earth is immovable. I suspect some must be a bit vague, but here are a few obvious texts. So the first text is 1 Chronicles 16:30. Tremble before him, all the earth. Indeed, the world is firmly established. It will not be moved. So this basically is kind of saying that the earth is immovable. because it says at the end, it will not be moved, which
Mhm.
that's actually in a song. Like, I listen to Christian radio, and it will not be moved. That lyric right there, it will not be moved, is actually in a song. Next Bible. Oh, what were you gonna say? Sorry, I keep interrupting you, Mighty. But what were you gonna say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, all I heard was so I thought you said something. Next Bible verse is Psalms 93, 1. The Lord reigns. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord has clothed and girded himself with strength. Indeed, the world is firm established. It will not be moved. See, this one says the earth is immovable again. The next Bible verse is Psalms 96, 10. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. Indeed, the world is firmly established. It will not be moved. He will judge the peoples with equality. So that little part at the end, he will judge the peoples with equality, is new. But again, it's kind of like all the other verses. It says, say among the nations, the Lord reigns. Indeed, the world is firmly established. It will not be moved. And that's basically well known in the Bible that there's sometimes where one Bible verse isn't the only Bible verse that says what it says. There could be five Bible verses in the Bible that say the exact same thing. Well, not exact. I mean, there could be 5 verses in the Bible that kind of say the exact same thing. Kind of like this, kind of like how Psalms 96:10 said this, and it almost was the exact same to the other Bible verse, but not exactly the same.
I know what you mean.
Okay, the next Bible verse here is Psalms 104:5. Psalms is the biggest book in the Bible, by the way. Here's what Psalms 104:5 says. He established the earth upon its foundations, so that it will not totter forever and ever. So he put the earth in one location and it stays there, kind of, and it will not totter like a seesaw. It will just stay firm, and it will go around the sun with the solar system. Obviously, they didn't add that, but that's what they mean. And then the next Bible verse is Isaiah 45:18. Isaiah 45:18. Where are you? There you are. For thus the Lord says, who created the heavens, and in parentheses, he is the God who formed the earth and made it. He established it and did not create it a waste place, but formed it to be inhabited with people and animals and all this stuff. And then end parentheses, I am the Lord and there is none else. So that Bible verse kind of didn't say anything about the earth being firmless. Do you agree, Mighty, or did you hear something in there that maybe you think it talked about the earth being firm?
No, I agree.
Yeah, you agree that it said nothing about the earth being formed, which is very weird. So I'm going to actually read the description of it, because as you can see on the website, there's a description of the Bible verse. So it was the last one. Who made the earth and fashioned it, and himself fixed it fast. Again, the part where it says who made the earth and fashioned it, I do agree with that, because the Bible verse says that God created the earth. So this one is saying God fashioned or created the earth. But the part where it says and fixed and himself fixed it fast, it said nothing about the earth breaking and him fixing it very fast. So that's the weird part. let's see. Okay, so I'm going to read these now. The Genesis creation story provides the first key to the Hebrew cosmology. The order of creation makes no sense from a conventional perspective, but is perfectly logical from a flat earth viewpoint. The earth was created on the first day, and it was without form and void. Genesis 1:2. So Genesis 1:2 says exactly this. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters. So that's what that says. On the second day, a vault, the firmament of the King James Version, was created to divide the waters, some being above and some being below the vault. Only on the fourth day, where the sun, moon, and stars were created, and they were placed in, not above, the vault. And then here's the vault of heaven. The vault of heaven is a crucial concept. The word firmament appears in the King James Version of the Old Testament 17 times. Yes, there's different versions of the Bible. And in each case, it is translated from the Hebrew word, which meant the visible vault of the sky. The Hebrew word that comes from another Hebrew word meaning beaten out. In ancient times, brass objects were either cast in the form required or beaten into shape on an anvil. A good craftsman could beat a lump of cast brass into a thin bowl. Thus, Ilaha asks Job, "Can you beat out a raga, the vault of?" So I'm gonna say it without the words being added, so it can be more. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the Bible verse so we can read from there. So this is Job 37. Job 37:18. And this is not the King James Version. I'm using the NASB version, or otherwise said as the New American Standard Bible. So this is what Job 37:18 says in the New American Standard Bible. Can you with him spread out the skies strong as a molten mirror? So that's what he's asking. And I'm actually going to read a little bit more of this so it can make sense. So 18, 19, and maybe 20, and maybe 21, I don't know. Can you with him spread out the skies strong as a molten mirror? Teach us what we shall say to him. We cannot arrange our case because of darkness. Shall it be told him that I would speak? Or should a man say that he would be swallowed up? No,
Yeah.
now. Oh, what?
Sorry. I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go? It's fine.
All right, bye.
Bye. Sorry about that, guys. Mighty has left, but I will continue this concept. Thank you for staying with us. If you have just joined, thank you for coming. If you are still here, thank you for staying with us. Hashtag 777. Sorry you sent that 20 minutes ago and I just saw it FFN, but yes, hashtag 777. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna have to just reload the comments. So sorry about me doing late reactions to your comments, FFN. It's just because somehow I can't get your live comments. I actually have to go to my live stream and click on comments and see your actual comment. So sorry about that. The reason I just stopped talking is I'm thinking to delete a video that you guys haven't seen it yet, but info and settings. You guys haven't seen it, just never uploaded. So if I can, I might delete it. But anyways, let's continue reading. Okay, anyway. Elihu's question shows that the Hebrews considered the vault of heaven a solid physical object, such a large dome would be a tremendous feat of engineering. The Hebrews, and supposedly Yahweh himself, or Jesus, considered it exactly that. And this point is hammered home by 5 scriptures. Let us go to the scriptures. Oh, so we have Job. Oh, stop it. Job 9:8. Who alone stretches out the heavens and tremble? Yeah, I was right. Who alone stretches out the heavens and trembles down the waves of the sea? So that's what that says. And then we go to Psalms 19:1. Psalms 19:1. The heavens are telling of the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands. I've heard the work of his hands thing before. Next one is Psalms 102:25. 102. Oh, what? 10. Because I can't just type it. Where is it? Boom, right there. It's so cool how the Bible talks about this stuff, and I can read the Bible to you guys without you arguing. Well, you guys, I mean one person. Yay. Anyway, 102:25. I don't know why I wanted to do that. Of old you founded the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. There's another one, work of your hands thing. Next one is Isaiah 45:12. Isaiah 45. So I'm gonna check the time just to see what it is. So it's 7:30. We're about to end this live stream. We end at it's 7:12, I think, or 7:17. It's 7:18 now, and we are gonna end this live stream like we always do at 7:30. So here's what Isaiah 45:12 says. It is I who made the earth and created man upon it. I stretched out the heavens with my hands, and I ordained all their host. That's what that says. And the next one and last one in this part is Isaiah 48:13. Isaiah 48. There, that's better. Isaiah 48:13 or 14? 13. Surely my hand founded the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens. When I call to them, they stand together. So that's what that Bible verse says. And if we read this, it says, if these verses are about a mere illusion of a vault, that they are surely much ado about nothing. Somebody comes from somewhere. So this word comes from that root. The root is meaning to be lofty. It literally means the sky. Other passages complete the picture of the sky as a lofty physical dome. God sits throned on the vaulted roof of earth, who inhabitants, I'm skipping the words that are in the parentheses because that just adds words to make it sound better, but I'm going to skip them to actually read the word. Roof of earth, whose inhabitants are likely grasshoppers. He stretches out the skies. He stretches out the skies like a curtain. He spreads them out like a tent to live in, which was Isaiah 40:22. That word literally means circle or encompassed. By extension, it could mean roundness, as in a rounded dome or vault. Job 22:14 says, God walks to I'm gonna actually read it from the word. So Job 22:14. Job 22. 14. Oh, I skipped it. 14. Clouds are a hiding place for him so that he cannot see, and he walks on the vault of heaven. There's the word vault of heaven right there. Says God walks to and from on the vault of heaven. In both verses, the use of that word implies a physical object on which one can sit and walk. Likewise, the context in both the causes requires elevation. In Isaiah, the elevation causes the people below to look small as grasshoppers. In Job, God's eyes must penetrate the clouds to view the doings of humans below. Elevation is also implied by Job 22:12. Let's go back up a little. Is not God in the height of heaven? Look also at the distant stars, how high they are. So that verse, in my own words, even though it's going to probably be completely wrong, basically says, you don't think God is in heaven? Well, look up at the stars. One of those stars might be God, and you never know. It might be God. It might not be a star. It might be a bright light that God is shining that looks like a star. You never know. Let's see. Did I skip it somewhere? No, I did not. Surely God is at the zenith of the heavens and looks down on all the stars high as they are. So that's what that says. The picture of the cosmos is reinforced by Ezekiel's vision. The Hebrew word appears 5 times in Ezekiel, 4 times in Ezekiel 1:22-26. Oh, Ezekiel 1, and then we go down to 22 through 26, right? Yeah, 26. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now over the heads of the living beings there was something like an expanse, like the awesome gleam of crystal, spread out over their heads. Under the expanse their wings were stretched out straight, one toward the other. Each one also had 2 wings covering its body on the one side and on the other. I also heard the sound of their wings like the sound of abundant waters, that they went like the voice of the Almighty, a sound of tumult like the sound of an army camp. Whenever they stood still, they dropped their wings, and there came a voice from above, the expanse that was over their heads. Whenever they stood still, they dropped their wings. Now above the expanse that was over their heads, there was something resembling a throne, like lapis lazuli. If you play Minecraft, you know what that is. In appearance, and on that which resembled a throne high up was a figure with the appearance of a man. Then I noticed from the appearance... Oh, I'm reading more. I'm reading more than I needed to. Where was I? Okay, right there. And once in Ezekiel 10:1. So Ezekiel 10:1. Then I looked, and behold, in the expanse that was over the heads of the something like a sapphire stone, in appearance resembling a throne, appeared above them. The one thing I realized just now was the other verse talked about lapis lazuli, and then this one talks about sapphire. So there was a material change through the chapters in Ezekiel, which is very weird. In each case, the context requires a literal vault or dome. The vault appears above the living creatures and glitters like a sheet of ice. Above the vault is a throne of sapphire or lapis lazuli. Okay, so the same thing. I thought they were different. Seated on the throne is a form in human likeness, which is radiant and like the appearance of the glory of the Lord. In short, Ezekiel saw a vision of God sitting throned on the vault of heaven, as described in Isaiah 40:22. Oh, Isaiah 40:22. I got right there. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. What time is it? Almost 10:30, almost 7:30. No. Okay. The shape of the earth. Disregarding the dome, the essential flatness of the earth's surface is required by verses like Daniel 4:10-11. Daniel 4:10-11. Now these were the visions in my mind. As I lay on my bed, I was looking, and behold, there was a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The trees grew large and became strong, and its heights reached the sky, and it was visible to the end of the whole world. So that basically means the tree was so high, like the earth was flat, and the tree was so stinking high that because of the earth being flat, everyone saw it. Still don't believe the earth is flat. In Daniel, the king saw a tree of great height at the center of the earth, reaching with its top to the sky and visible to the earth's farthest bounds. If the earth were flat, a significantly tall tree would be visible to the earth's farthest bounds. But this is impossible on a spherical earth. Likewise, in describing the temptation of Jesus by Satan in Matthew 4:8, it says, "Once again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdom of the world in their glory." Obviously, this would be possible only if the earth were flat. The same is true of Revelation 1:7, which says, "Behold, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye shall see him." So even though it's not 7:30 yet, I am going to actually go ahead and end my live stream right here. Thank you for watching my live stream, FFN, if you are still here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. Sorry that I couldn't really have a company of guests today. I don't really know why. It was probably because it was like 5:50 when I realized it was 5:50 when I realized it was 5:50, and I was just like, oh shoot, it's close to my live stream. So I quickly got everyone, and I'm like, come on, join. And then it was 6, and I'm like, start. I don't need anybody. So anyway, thank you guys for watching my live stream. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up. If you have already left a thumbs up, I am glad you did. I'm glad I'm doing this, and I will see you guys in the next video.